rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Early in the morning, we're gonna be speaking Arsenal news. We're gonna be speaking a lot of, Arsenal updates. A couple of things to discuss through this early morning. Of course, it's a Monday, and we had a very, very busy weekend. We started off the weekend, by the way. Congratulations to all Arsenal fans. We are one of those clubs that didn't get a thumping because it was a hell of a weekend. Manchester United conceding 5, and Norwich City conceding 7. Aston Villa conceding 3, courtesy of the big club Arsenal, obviously. I saw a couple of goals, go around, and it's like, what was going on? Manchester City, did they score 5? Did they beat Brighton 5? Was it 4? Was it 5? I think it was 4-1. Yeah, it was 4-1. It was a hell of a weekend. Later on, we will get into the team of the week and the team of the weekend and the players that I think really, really performed well. But guys, really, really come back from the weekend. It was a hectic one. We survived. Aston Villa, if they were in their better form, probably the result could have been different, but they were not, and that is all I care about. They were not in their better form. They were not in on their best day, and finally, we walked away with the win. I'll get into that game a little bit. If you didn't watch the match reaction and my player ratings and all that, I'll get into that game a little bit and try to tell you what happened, especially with Mikel Arteta's press conference and everything that actually he said about that game. And obviously, we'll try to dive into the injury crisis at Arsenal. Lacazette limping off the pitch, Aubameyang limping off the pitch as well, and Saka is injured now. Look, we have a couple of good. We had a couple of good. We had a couple of good results. In that game, we had a couple of positives, but the negatives are that you have almost 3 of your best players injured. It is scary. It is absolutely, absolutely scary. So good morning. Type good morning in the chat and let me know where you're watching from. Good morning to you, Anu. I hope you're doing well. So type good morning in the chat and let me know where you're watching from. And of course, if the audio is good, let me know as well, because it's a Monday and I've not tested my audio from the weekend. So please make sure you tell me if the audio is good and yeah, the audio is okay. The audio is okay, and that's the biggest thing I care about on the show. It's always the audio, because it's the communication that really matters. So in today's live stream, in the morning live stream, because I'll be back at 5 p.m. I'll be streaming at 11 a.m., 5 p.m. and 3 p.m. So make sure you do check out for that. 5 p.m., 11 a.m. in the morning, 5 p.m. in the evening, and 3 p.m. In the night or in the evening after the AFTV news show. So you could just watch the AFTV news show. After that, you switch over to Cossy's Arsenal podcast, and then we'll be discussing much of our Arsenal stories, really, on the channel. So in this edition, why don't we talk about a couple of things? Saka's injuries, of course, it's a big one, but of course, we'll speak about the fact that Edu could be replaced by Marc Overmars. Now, there is this talk about Edu out and everything like that. I want him out, you know that. I've never changed my thoughts and mine on Edu and Mikel Arteta. I want them out. I've spoken about that, daily, on a daily basis, and it doesn't change for me. It doesn't change. It could change for you. I don't know. It could change for you, but it doesn't change for me. I want them out, and I want them out as soon as possible. But before we get into that, before we go into all that, Marc Overmars is one of the best technical directors you can ever get. He's an Arsenal legend. Newcastle wants him. He would love to work with Arsenal. And for me, that is one of the things that, we can never get. That's one of the positives. That's one of, I think, the opportunities, the advantages we can ever get. Getting a technical director like Marc Overmars, it means a lot. It absolutely means a lot. So we'll talk about Marc Overmars and Edu's plans for January, because he wants 7 players out. I think we should talk about that in the transfer show at 5, because 7 players out in January, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. We'll talk about the new 4-4-2 formation, Smith Rowe's performance against Aston Villa, and obviously I think Arsene Wenger's words, and then William Saliba's performance. Against PSG, which was absolutely overwhelming. So, if you want to join my WhatsApp group, people, if you want to join my WhatsApp group, link is in the comments. I'm going to post this throughout this month and next month. So join the WhatsApp group just to make sure that you get all the Arsenal updates, and you get to know when I'm coming live. It's a request that people have always put in. Cossy, we would love to know when you're coming live. Cossy, this and that, and I'm like, fine, it's all right. If you want to know when I'm coming live, if you want me to give you my WhatsApp group link or anything like that, it's absolutely okay with me. By the way, it's absolutely okay with me. So what I've done is I've created a WhatsApp group link where you guys will be able to get all all my notifications when I go live, all my notification when I upload, and also if anything, if I see a story and probably it's past time to come live, or which is way before time to come live, I could share it in the WhatsApp group. We discuss about it and probably come live. You could also it will also give us an opportunity to engage better, and also to speak about things on a more personal basis. Now, please don't spam my WhatsApp inbox by don't spam me. I mean, at times it gets overwhelming. So please don't spam my inbox. It's okay if you want to, talk to me but don't spam, right? Don't spam. At times it gets really overwhelming, and when things are overwhelming, it becomes bad. Right? Let's get into it. Let's get into the news. I really talked about talked much. Let's get into it. Let's start off with Saka, Aubameyang, and Alexander Lacazette. Now, those three, apart from Saka, the two had a very good great game against Aston Villa, and I thought Aubameyang in that game consistently, by the way, worked very hard. Could be the reason that Lacazette played. Could be the reason that he's just finding his rhythm and form back, because in the past games we've seen a different kind of Aubameyang. Probably the Aubameyang we want to see. Probably the Aubameyang we know. A player who's willing to fight for the ball, a player who's willing to press hard, a player who's willing to work hard. And of course, at the moment, he has already scored 4 goals in 9 appearances for us this season. For me, that speaks volumes. That absolutely speaks volumes. And the improved performances are also part of the reason. Also part of the reason as to why, I think Aubameyang is needed in this football club. So I've always told you, I can't imagine myself saying I want Aubameyang out. I've always said that. I mean, for me, he's one of those most important Arsenal players you have in the side. It's so hard to say you want Aubameyang out. It's so hard to say, Aubameyang should leave Arsenal, or things like that, or he has failed. Yes, he's not performed well ever since his contract, and we don't know the reason. You do not know the reason, and I also don't know the reason. So I really can't come and claim, I know the reason that's why Aubameyang is not performing well, blah, blah, blah. I don't know the reason. I don't know whether the reason that's why he wasn't, he's not been performing well. But this season, there just seems to be an elevation in every Arsenal department and every Arsenal player. And with Aubameyang scoring 4 goals now out of 9 games, it's something that you've got to think about. 4 goals, 9 games. If by January, right, by the time he goes for AFCON, he's scored 10 goals, that means by the end of the season he has a chance to score 15. Because for me, he's not far away from scoring 15. He's that kind of striker that we know can get you double figures every season. He's already got 4 in 9 appearances. If he consistently keeps that up for the next 5 games or 10 games, he's gonna have 15 goals. So for me, Aubameyang is very is very vital. Now, limping off the pitch with Lacazette as well is a big scare. And not a big scare because Saka is injured, because Saka is also injured. He wasn't fit in that game. I told you in the match reaction, he was not fit. we know the Saka, we know, right? We all know, the kind of player Saka is when he's fit, when he's not injured, when he's in the game. But now for me, he's not the Saka we want to see. And for me, it's not only the tackle against MacArthur put up against him in the Crystal Palace game, which should have been a red card. Mike Dean, obviously facing the penalty and things like that. But for me, it's not that. Saka has not rested ever since last season. Imagine, actually, ever since last season but one, he's been a regular player for Arsenal in all competitions, in all games. And he's been a regular player now, increasingly regular for England in all competition. He played in the Euros, played a big part for England, up to the final. He's been playing in the Euro qualifiers, the UEFA Nations League, and the World Cup qualifiers. So I think Saka needs to rest. That's the point. That's the point of this video. Saka needs to rest. Saka needs to get time to rest. The likes of Aubameyang, the likes of, like I said, this season had not started the game, right? So I think Saka should have such a privilege as well. I don't know if it's a privilege or it's a luxury, because if it's a luxury, you might well understand Mikel saying that it's a luxury I can't take at the moment because I'm tied, in 10th, almost 1 point off top, of position 5 on the table, and 3 points off top 4, right? So if he says he can't take the luxury, you might as well understand. But my scare with Saka is he just turned 20, right? If he gets a big injury that keeps him out for 6 months, 8 months, because when you overplay a player, he gets burnt out. He's susceptible. He's vulnerable to these long-term injuries. So if Saka gets a long-term injury, let's say 6 months, let's say 4 months, he's gonna come back a different player, and that is what we do not want. In the first place, you do not want your best player to limp off the pitch for whatever kind of time, for 9 months, 6 months, 2 months. You don't want that, because our creativity lies in Bukayo Saka, and that has been the case for, is it the last 1 year or 2 years? Without Saka, no party. No Saka, no creativity. No Saka, no scoring goals. And one of the things I think I saw as progress in the Aston Villa game is Saka is out of the game. Saka is having a nightmare of a game because he's not fit, by the way. Mikel, shame on you, Mikel, because Saka should be coming off the pitch, and Martinelli should be coming on. And look, great tactics by the manager, by the way, on Friday to get us the 3 points. But my point though is, if Saka gets a long-term injury, he's coming back a different player. He's vulnerable to becoming a Jack Wilshere. He's vulnerable to that. He's vulnerable to becoming a Vasilka Bujabe. Because these are injuries. For me, for a player like Saka, when we are playing Aston Villa and we are 2 goals up, get him off the pitch. Bring in Gabriel Martinelli. He's not a defender. I'm not saying we are going to, I'm not saying we go defensive, because Martinelli is not a defensive player. If any case, he's more direct than Saka. And of course, his impact at the moment, not at that level as Bukayo Saka, but he's a very, very direct player, and that's what you want. You want direct players. You want players that can, push up and create something and things like that. So for me, against Leicester City, now there's a big debate. Against Leicester City, away from home, do you rest Saka? You drop Saka? Because if you if you drop him in the name of resting him, I'm one of those people who are going to understand. But if we lose against Leicester City by not scoring, Arteta is going to face a trap, and that's the problem. Arteta is going to face a trap. Why didn't he play Saka? Should have played Saka. This manager is crap. This manager, and I'm gonna be one of those people who say that. So with Saka, I think it needs some time to rest. I think it needs. I just feel that there've been so many interruptions. In his development. I mean, not interruptions in his development really, but in the past 1 year, you have so many international breaks coming in, the Euros in there, and then you have him alone carrying the Arsenal side going forward. So it's surely there is burnout in the legs of Bukayo Saka. There is burnout in his muscles. There's burnout in his mind, and for me, he needs to be protected beyond reasonable doubt. For if he gets that bad injury, it's on Southgate, it's on Mikel. He's 20 years of age, for Christ's sake. He needs to get some rest. I'm not saying put him out for put him out for 2 games. I mean, it's ridiculous. But the fact that we're not playing in Europe could speak volumes about Saka resting. If we can just skip a week without playing him, just involving him in training, and probably we play Norwich and you don't have Saka. Just put Saka out of it. And I think what Mikel needs to do is to learn squad rotation as well. Not really changing the the lineup like he was doing last season. I don't want that, and I don't back that. And you know what? I'm one of those people who don't back the idea of a manager, just shrinking the lineup all the time. But what I think he should be doing is he should be getting Gabriel Martinelli to compete at the same level as Bukayo Saka. It's only to our advantage. It's only and only to our advantage. Many people might not understand, how it comes to our advantage, but it's only to our advantage. If you have Martinelli, who is injury prone at the moment, not really injured, but injury prone, and Saka. Just imagine if Saka was the injury prone player. So I think we should, Mikel needs to develop Martinelli to the same level, just like you see United. They've got a Jadon Sancho, they've got a Mason Greenwood, and they've got a Marcus Rashford. For me, those 3 players are not the same. They're not at the same level. I think Rashford, in pecking order, I'll go Rashford first, Sancho second, and Greenwood third, or probably Greenwood and Sancho. At the moment, Greenwood second and Sancho third. But if they lost Greenwood to a bad injury, Sancho and Rashford just take up the wings. If Rashford got injured like he was at the beginning of the season, you have Greenwood and Sancho. So it's only to our advantage that squad rotation happens. Give Martinelli some playing time. I've spoken about Gabriel Martinelli in a whole podcast, in the Super Arsenal podcast, and I say if there is in any way, Mikel Arteta can help Gabriel Martinelli, is not sitting sitting him on the bench. That does not help the player. It doesn't. The only way and the best way a manager can help a player, for me, is you give him the game time. Try to engage him. Try to put him, in schedules. I think it helps a lot. It helps a lot. But let me know what you think about Saka's rotation. Do you think Arsenal should rotate him, or do you just think no need to rotate him? He's good to go. He's fine. I mean, I need your thoughts in the comment box. And obviously, help me, people. There's so many people who are hitting the dislike button. There's so many people who are hitting the dislike button. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Let's get our streams to 100 likes, okay? Let's get our streams to 100 likes. And the only way we are going to get that, the only way we are going to do that is by you guys hitting the like button. So make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. But the like button means a lot. Many people are hitting the dislike button. And obviously, the best way to support the channel, to support your boy, is by hitting the like button. Do that now, right? So away from Saka and Aubameyang and Laca, I mean, there is an injury crisis, at the club, but I think I don't think they're long-term injuries, right? What I would do is I don't play them against Leeds. We will talk about the Leeds game, the preview, and everything like that. What you do is you don't play them against Leeds, because for me, Leeds are already struggling this season. No need to. I mean, you respect them because there is Marcel Bielsa, there are players like Rafinha, Kevin Phillips, and a couple of and a couple of other players that I think could be dangerous and deadly. It's in the EFL Cup round of 16. It gives us our opportunity, our first opportunity this season to play in any quarterfinal. It's a major milestone for me. It's a major, major milestone. If we get to the quarterfinals, play whoever we are given, and probably get to the semifinals. We might not win it. We might not make it to the finals, but if we can make it to the semifinals, that would be a major stamp, a major step in our season. That kind of big stamp, like dish, right? So we need to get to the quarterfinals and ultimately to the semifinals and maybe to the final. And maybe win the EFL Cup. Ever since I started, supporting Arsenal, have we ever won the EFL Cup? We have never. So probably it's not a big cup. It's not the biggest, the huge, cup. But if you win it, right, it boosts the confidence. It just creates this kind of different kind of morale in the fans and maybe in the fan base, in your dressing room, and things like that. So what I would do is rest Saka, rest Aubameyang, and Lacazette against Leeds. This is a game where Gabriel Martinelli needs to play 90 minutes, right? This is a game where you have maybe Mohamed El Neni play 90 minutes, 90 minutes as well. Who else? I mean, it's a game for squad rotation, and with squad rotation, what I mean is you keep some of you keep some of the players out, right? You rest them. So I mean, away from the injury crisis. Now, let's speak about Edu and Marc Overmars, right? Edu and Marc Overmars. There's been talk of Edu's plans for January, and like I promised, at 7 or at 5 p.m. we'll be discussing Edu and his plans for Arsenal. Come the January transfer window, which I think is a little bit called for. Right, it's called for. We are not yet, at that level where we are, clear. We are very clear in the recruitment process. I mean, a lot of work still has to be done. So the talk is Edu wants to wants 7 players to leave Arsenal in the January transfer window. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Kolasinac, Holding, Cedric, and anyone, right? And anyone. But where are you going to sell them? Where are we going to sell them? It's a big question. Who's going to buy them? Are there clubs that really do want to buy players from Arsenal? Or it is this kind of, talk? We want our players out. We want players to leave the club. I mean, it's two-way. It's two-way. But before we dive into, plans for January and everything like that. Like I said, plans for January, we'll ultimately speak about that, at 5 p.m. in the Arsenal transfer show, where I will, I'll just get all the Arsenal transfers and, put them together. Marc Overmars is being looked at as a potential target to replace Edu at Arsenal Football Club. It makes a lot of sense when I speak and say it. Marc Overmars to replace Edu at Arsenal Football Club. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Why? I don't know. I mean, it's a question that we can ask ourselves as Arsenal fans. Is Edu doing enough? Is Edu the ultimate answer? Right? Is Edu the ultimate answer? I don't know. That's my answer. I don't know. Because really, the kind of business we did in the summer, you can think about that in 2 ways. One is, like Edu said, you're building a foundation. You want to build a foundation, like Liverpool did, and probably go back to competing, to winning ways in a space of 3 years. You can't think about in that way. You can also think about it as absolute shit. You can also think about it as a failure, because for me, why I would take it as a failure is spending 156 million on 7 players. We could have spent that money on 4 players that massively elevate the team: a centre back, 2 midfielders, and a right back. 4 players that massively elevate the team. Because just imagine if you have 150 million and you spend Ben. They sold to us the idea that getting a player like Ben White was inevitable, right? And for me, I don't think getting Ben White was inevitable. I don't think it was inevitable. Maybe getting because we have Saliba, and the next topic is talking about Saliba and Ben White. Saliba had a very, very good game against the likes of Mbappe and Messi, and Ben White had a very, 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 very good game. And like I said, a very good game. A very good game against Aston Villa. What a performance from the lad. And the two are being compared. I'm going to do a video. I promise. Let me jot that down, guys. Just allow me jot that down. Right? Video. Right. I put that down. So I'm going to do a video comparing the two players, and who should be Arsenal's right-footed centre back, because this is not going to end. It's like the Emiliano Martinez Leno debate. It's never going to end. It's never going to end. Saliba, Ben White, it's never going to end. Just like when we thought Ben White had convinced us that he has put in a very good performance, Saliba destroyed Mbappe. That tackle, make sure you watch that tackle. Make sure you watch that tackle back. Watch the highlights and watch that Saliba tackle on Kylian Mbappe. Class, pure class. It is the reason that's why we spent more than 30 million pounds to get a 19-year-old. That was nice. That was class. So if we just imagine, because we were in a financial predicament, corner, dark corner, anything you want to use. We were trying to maximize, the potential of the 150 million that we had on our table. Suppose we don't spend 50 million on Ben White, and we use William Saliba, who I think is absolutely doing well, out, in France, and maybe deserve the chance. If we don't spend the 50 million on William Saliba, on Ben White, and we don't spend the 10 million, right? And we don't spend the 10 million on Ramsdale, the 30 million on Ramsdale, and probably go for a goalkeeper like David Raya, Brentford, and spend 20 million on David Raya. So that means we would have saved 60 million. The 60 million at the moment for me is you get 30 million and spend it on Houssem Aouar as your box to box. Okay, on Ruben Neves, right? On Ruben Neves as your box to box, together playing deep with Thomas Partey, and you get the money that we spent on Odegaard plus the remaining 30 million, and spend that money on whoever is there, probably a Joaquin Correa. I mean, Joaquin Correa is not 60 million. Joaquin Correa could be around 35 million. If we didn't want to go for Joaquin Correa, we could have gone for anyone. I mean, a Martinez, 60 million for Martinez probably could work out. I don't know. Just give me suggestions of the number 10s that are good in the world that we could buy. I mean, I can't find any good number 10s apart from James Maddison. The likes of Joaquin Correa, Peter Zielinski. I mean, I need a good number 10. I mean, I could go for Tielemans as well. Probably not that kind of number 10 that you would think about, but he's good. He's good in that area as well. Yeah, maybe, right? Maybe. Oh, probably. Yeah. I mean, so for me, Edu's business at Arsenal has not been the worst, and at the moment, it's not yet the best. But the thing he has is he has created room for himself for self improvement in his job, right? He has created room for self improvement. It's more like what Mikel Arteta has done over the past, over the past kind of time. Because what Mikel has done is he has created room for self-improvement. He's created room for himself to improve, get better, and things like that. So basically, what he's done is now he has 14 points and is 1 point off top 4. What that means is that if he wins the next game, he goes to top 4. If he loses the next game or draws, he is still in that range of top 4. So it's kind of just buying yourself some time. But the whole issue with Marc Overmars and the whole issue with Edu is Arsenal are not really looking at Marc Overmars. Newcastle are, though. But Marc Overmars would love, it's open and clear, Marc Overmars would love to come to Arsenal and he would love to be our sporting director. And I'm going to be biased on this. I'll take Marc Overmars all day long. I'll take him. He's at Ajax, but I'll take him. Because at the moment, what we need is a sporting director that understands the European market. Because for me, if Marc Overmars is at Arsenal, we get Donny van de Beek. Right? We get Donny van de Beek. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. If Marc Overmars is at Arsenal, we would get Donny van de Beek. Because for me, I don't understand how Manchester United are trashing Donny van de Beek, yet Arsenal do not have a player who's as good as Donny van de Beek in that area, in that box to box. So that's what I'm saying, that at times you need a sporting director that understands the club, the value of the club, but also understands the market. I think Marc Overmars does understand the European market better than Edu Gaspar. But will Arsenal sack Edu? I mean, it's debatable. There've been a couple of murmurs, rumors, but I don't see that happen. I don't see that happen. What it's gonna do in January is probably gonna get in one midfielder, and in the summer getting around 2 to 3 players, and his job is safe. So with Edu, I'll take Marc Overmars all day long. But I would definitely not. I would definitely not really get carried away by Edu getting, with all this thing of Edu getting sacked, and everything, everything of the sort. And then the other thing I want us to talk about is Saliba and and Ben White. Now, there's a big debate cropping up, and I love debates. They just give you that kind of they just give you that kind of how should I call it? They just give you that kind of body of knowledge to sink in and see what people think, and debate on issues and things like that. So what is going on at the moment is a big question of how William Saliba does not get into Arsenal's team and Ben White does. Bear in mind that Ben White had a fantastic game against Aston Villa. And I think this is the reason as to why this big debate is actually cropping up. It's not cropping up because one of the players is not worthy. It's actually cropping up because both players, are putting in decent performances. And for me, that is really good for Arsenal. It's good and it's a little bit bad. Bad because we have a manager that will decide to let one player go rather than engage them and encourage and encourage competition in the team. I think if Jurgen Klopp is manager, like he has Konate and Matip, we can keep both players. But under Mikel Arteta, it's either one or the other. Look at Leno and Ramsdale. Leno is going to leave either in January or in the summer. But if it is Jurgen Klopp, he can keep both players. He can keep both players at us. He would keep both players at Liverpool. So I think with Saliba and Ben White, for me, it shouldn't be a debate of who is better anymore. That that debate was relevant in the summer, right? It was absolutely relevant in the summer, but now for me, it's not that relevant. I don't take it as this big relevant debate of Saliba and Ben White. But let me know in the comments below. 25 people on. Let me know. Just is Saliba better than Ben White? Type yes or no. Is Saliba better than Ben White? I need to know. I mean, I need to get hold of this, and make sure you smash a like on the video, please, right about now. I mean, I need to get a clear, something clear of how you people see this thing. Is William Saliba better than Ben White? Because for me, the advantages of Ben White being English and and being the strong, formidable defender, the ball playing abilities, poor in the air, we know that, but his ability, to adapt to the Premier League, from the Championship. He's already played in the in the Premier League, used to the, knows the language and things like that. Those are some of the advantages as to why we bought him, right? Then the problem though, right? The problem though, with with Ben White is the fact that we spent 50 million on him, yet we had William Saliba, who is almost, for me, at the same level. So the debate of who is better is very relevant in aiding conversation, because it can really have, we can share words, we can have words around it, but it doesn't make sense for me. I'm sorry to say, it really doesn't make sense for me. Who is better? I think in the air, Saliba is good. Ben White isn't. Dribbling, I think both of them are good. Ball playing abilities, very good. We saw the ball playing abilities of Ben White over the weekend, on Friday, if you could call it the weekend, right? But for me, it doesn't say anything. Both players should be given a chance. Arsenal, Saliba is not sold and was not sold by Arsenal. So both players need to get a chance. And I think both players will get a chance. And that's when we will decide who stays and who goes, right? So for me, the defense is worthless, right? It's worthless. If you have William Saliba, you've got to support him. As simple as that. You've got to support him. If you have Ben White, you've got to support him. Let's support the lads. Let's not try to create this kind of, or this kind of, big disparity and things like that. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense for me. I'm telling you for facts. It really doesn't make a lot of sense for me. So Saliba, Ben White, the debate. What do you think? I'd love to take some of your, some of your comments, about that at the moment. And right. Okay. Ricky says both are good. Even they can play together. I mean, playing both of them together could be something tricky. Yeah, playing both of them together could be something tricky. But nevertheless, you never know, right? You never know. You never know. Morning, Cossy. That's according to that's Emmanuel says, good morning, Cossy. How are you doing, Emmanuel? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. And then this, I don't know why this thing is playing games. That is that's John, who says good morning as well. And then good morning. That's according to Promise. Good morning to you, Promise, as well. Iga says audio is perfect. Thank you so much. Vincent says, Cossy, how are you doing, bro? I'm absolutely in perfect shape. You can see I'm absolutely in perfect shape. Eric says keep both of them. I mean, I would keep both of them. I would really keep both of them. I like both players. There is no question about that. I really like both players, right? Okay, and Yeah, hope that's all for now. In terms of the comments, make sure you hit the like button. By the way, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit that like button. Thanks, everybody. Now, let's move on to the comments. Let's move on to the comments made by Jamie Carragher, ex-Liverpool fan, now a football pundit, and those comments were on Smith Rowe. Right? Those comments were on Smith Rowe. So I mean, Smith Rowe is a talent. Someone is calling my phone, but I can't pick up the moment. All right. So Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher, both pundits now, ex players for Liverpool and for Manchester United and Liverpool combined, or sorry, consecutively. No, not consecutively. What's the word? Is it called respectively? Yeah, respectively. It's the word I was looking for. Respectively, have shared their opinion about ESR, Emile Smith Rowe, and I mean the debate is not about is he a good player or is he a generational talent. It's past that. It's past that, and this is not me, praising my man of the match. This is not me, praising my man of the match. This is me saying that Smith Rowe is a world class talent. We've got to accept that he's world class. He absolutely obliterated Aston Villa. That was, that was a violation. That one there against Aston Villa Smith was a violation. Shirt number 10, well deserved. Well deserved, my man. Shirt number 10 deserves you, bro. You are a true generational talent, right? And for me, look, this is what Gary Neville said on Emile Smith Rowe. He said, "I think he's a breath of fresh air. I think he has been since he came into the team. Him and Bukayo Saka just make you feel how you should be feeling about football. Just joy." Brilliant comment. Brilliant comment. And look, I'm gonna put a lot of respect on Gary Neville, despite the fact that United is struggling, and wherever crisis and wherever thing they are in, we are in a crisis as well. Don't get me wrong, but this is a very objective comment on Emile Smith Rowe. He says, he's a breath of fresh air. Him and Bukayo Saka, ever since they came into the Arsenal team, they make you feel what you should feel about football. You just feel joy when you watch them. And he's not wrong. He's not anywhere close to being wrong. These two boys are a feeling of ultimate joy. But Jamie Carragher, for me, said something that is even more worse, better. I mean, worse in the sense of, have you heard of this, of this, slang where bad means good, right? That man is bad, and you're trying to mean. So I think because Carragher's comments are, on Emile Smith Rowe, he said he's one of the best players. He's one of the best players. Actually, if I'm gonna be specific, he said he is the best player running with the ball. And he said, look, I might be wrong. He said he might be wrong because when you're doing punditry, probably you might forget someone. Probably you might get carried away. But in his match reaction, he said, yeah, I might get carried away. I might have gotten carried away. But he's one of the best players running with the ball. And we saw that against Aston Villa. What a performance from Emile Smith Rowe. What a performance. And Mikel as well, he had his comments, he had his comments on Emile Smith Rowe. And he was asked on about Emile Smith Rowe starting to add the end product. And he said, that should be a habit, and he should demand that in his game, right? Because he's capable of doing it. I'm pleased he's developing that. He needs to develop more in other areas. The other night he wasn't 100% fit, but he made a step forward and wanted to play with the difficult injury he had. He wasn't complaining. He was just looking forward. He is changed the way he's living a little bit as well, and some habits that he had. He's been superb. So I think if there is a player for me that I've always seen maximum potential in, look, I'm gonna say this. I don't know how you guys will take it. At first, I didn't see. Something just went wrong. Something just went wrong. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. Probably could be my internet. But at first, right? At first, I didn't see maximum potential in Bukayo Saka. Look, I'm not a scout, right? So I didn't see this kind of maximum potential that people saw in Bukayo Saka and things like that. Actually, I didn't first believe in Bukayo Saka. If I'm being honest, I didn't first believe in him. No, I didn't. But as time went on, as things went on, I started to believe in the boy. I started to see, how great Bukayo Saka can become, as a national player. And for me, that's that's it with the likes of Smith Rowe. That's it. Players that are developing together, players that have that, that ability to become, anything. Because for me, Smith Rowe can become anything. So Gary Neville's comments on Emile Smith Rowe and Jamie Carragher's comments on Emile Smith Rowe as well, for me, they are not a coincidence. He is breaking through. He's a breakthrough. I mean, Southgate just said that Smith Rowe is very, very close to getting his, his England call-up, his England debut. And I'm like, yes, get in. That is what we want. I mean, it makes me sad when I watch the English national team, and I don't support England, by the way. I do not support them, right? I support Spain when it comes to Euros and World Cup and things like that. I support my country and Spain. But Uganda first, Spain second, right? But what I'm saying is, back in the days, you could see this English side with probably Jack Wilshere, Theo Walcott in there. I mean, I don't know how they could get in there, but they could get in there, right? They could get in there. You have Jack Wilshere in there. You have Theo Walcott in there. You have Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain called up, right? So I mean, it's normal. Right now, the only player we take is Saka. But if Smith Rowe gets the call up, Ramsdale gets the call up, Ben White gets the call up, Saka gets the call up. Those are four players that could potentially represent England, represent Arsenal for England. I mean, represent England for I don't know how to put that, right? And I would love that. I would love Smith Rowe because for me, he must be competing with Phil Foden. He must be competing with Mason Mount. He must be competing with Mason Greenwood. Sorry to say, he must be at that level. He is at that level. Whether you believe it or not, whether you want to believe it or not, if you're a rival fan, you don't believe it. You're gonna say, Smith Rowe is not at it's not at the same level with Mason Mount. Mount is brilliant, so brilliant. I love him, but Smith should be at the same level. Should be there. For me, he's not quite there, and the reason is, I think, he needs to be a little bit more consistent. Because if there is a player that I love due to their consistency, that I love courtesy of their consistency, is that boy, Mason Mount. Brilliant and consistent. So if Smith Rowe can be consistent, score 10 goals in a season, right? Create 15 assists in a season, he's going to be at the same level as Phil Foden. Right now, it is still so clear. Who do you play? Do you play Mount? Do you play Foden? Or do you play Smith Rowe? it's still clear that I would go for Foden ahead of them, ahead of both of them, and then Mason Mount, or probably play both of them, in the same team. What I want Smith Rowe to do is make it difficult for the manager, make it difficult for Southgate to decide on who gets in there. And I think it's just a replica of what Mikel Arteta said. He's got the potential, he's got the opportunity, and he will definitely do it. I believe in him. I believe in that boy. I know he's got the potential and ability to achieve maximum, right? I know he can do it. So if there is anyone on this channel that believes Smith Rowe is not good enough to to deliver, you're absolutely mistaken. He is good enough, and he's gonna deliver. He is gonna deliver. So your thoughts on Smith Rowe, I'd love to know. Do you think good morning to you, Paul. Good morning to you, Paul, as well. And good morning to you, Johnny. Says yes, because I do agree with you. So I mean, do you think Smith Rowe is that good? Because for me, I mean, at the end, it's football. It's results oriented. Do you think he is that good? Because for me, if Arsenal had gotten a proper number 10, a proper midfielder, a firing midfielder, it would have helped Smith Rowe rather than stunting his growth. Because bringing in a player who's at the same level as him, like Martin Odegaard, clear of him a little bit, but same level for me. Because Odegaard needs to work on the same things as Smith Rowe: dribble faster, score more goals, create more chances, take more risks. That is what Smith Rowe needs to work on. And that is what Martin Odegaard needs to work on. And the manager that we have and the coaching staff, for me, I don't believe they're going to teach these boys to do that. I don't think they're going to inspire them to do that. If we had a Jurgen Klopp, because look at a club like Liverpool. If I'm at Liverpool and I'm Jota, I'm looking at Salah and Mane, and I'm like, okay, let me just learn a few things from Salah and Mane. When I get my chance, I'll take it, right? But if you have players that are on the same level, one is not. There is some kind of competition, but one is not learning from the other. And I think to create the balance, you need a junior section and you need a senior section. The Arsenal senior section, for me, is a little bit lacking. But with Smith Rowe, the comments are absolutely right. The comments are absolutely right. And I agree with all the pundits who feel and believe that boy is gonna make it in life, because I do believe he's gonna make it in life as well. Anything else we've not talked about? The weekend. The weekend was total madness. Total madness. Can you believe Watford beat Everton 5-2? Everton led that game. It's total madness, sheer madness. The other thing I want us to talk about, and I'll expand about this in our match previews and in our match previews in the match preview series that are coming up ahead of the Leeds game. One thing we should talk about is the new formation, the 4-4-2. Guys, what are your thoughts about the 4-4-2? It worked for us. It absolutely did a very, very good job against. It did a very, very good job against Aston Villa. 4-4-2. Do you think it's a formation we should be sticking with? Eric, you're saying that Odegaard is faster, is far better than ESR. Just for now, Arteta is playing him deep, and I can't disagree with you. But what I'm saying that he is at the same level as ESR. I'm not saying that both of them, ESR and Odegaard, are like literally the same. No, that's what I mean. What I mean is that the aspects of their games that need to be improved, the aspects in which they need improvement, are absolutely the same. Smith Rowe doesn't score many goals, so does Odegaard. Smith Rowe doesn't create many chances per 90, so does Odegaard. They need to take more risks. Smith Rowe doesn't take many risks in a game, so that's all they got, right? So I think, look, if it comes to making the passes, breaking through, talent, excitement, blah, 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 I think Odegaard, is still clear of Smith Rowe. But we needed someone who was better. In the comment section, in the pin chat, there is my WhatsApp group, the channel WhatsApp group. Join in, and we will have, we'll keep on having the great discussions that really, and keep the conversations coming. Right. So with with that said, let's end off the discussion. Let's end off our discussion with the 4-4-2. Right. Let's talk about the 4-4-2. We've streamed for 55 minutes. That should be enough. We should be streaming for 1 hour or 55 minutes or 1 hour. That should be doing it per video. I mean, it gives me time to react to your comments. So, guys, we played a 4-4-2. And I'm not even, I don't believe myself that I'm saying this. I don't believe I'm saying this. But we played a 4-4-2 against Crystal Palace, against Aston Villa. I think it's the third formation or fourth formation that we have seen Mikel Arteta use. He loves the 3-4-3. He loves playing the 4-3-3. He loves the 4-2-3-1 and the 4-4-2 now that just came into play and won us a game. My question to you, though, is it the formation that you think Arsenal should stick to? Is it the formation that you think Arsenal need to be playing game in, game out? For Anu says, Anu, you're saying that 4-4-2 is okay, right? Anu says 4-4-2, Cossy, 4-4-2 is okay. So my problem with the 4-4-2 is when we were playing against Aston Villa, we've got to, we've got to be a little bit, what's the word? True to ourselves, right? I mean, it only works in your favor if you're true to yourself. I think to be true to ourselves, the 4-4-2 worked well, right? Jason says, Cossy, they all fall my hand. Jason, throw me more light. Throw me more light on that. What do you mean they all fall my hand? Please do throw more light. Throw more light on that. Throw more light on that. So Arsenal playing the 4-4-2, right? Arsenal playing the 4-4-2 is not a bad thing. But for me, it is not a tested theory. It is not a tested theory. It is the formation that we have used against Aston Villa, an Aston Villa side that we have to agree was absolutely abysmal. An absolute abysmal in that game. If Aston Villa are playing well, they expose us on a couple of occasions. Playing two strikers and four midfielders. Of course, we had two defensive midfielders. We had four defenders. That is, that is enough defensive security. So you had two wingers as well. You have two wingers and and two strikers, right? I mean, it's a formation that's not bad for me. And the way we used it is not in the traditional Burnley style, because with Burnley, they play Chris Wood and either Maxwell Cornet or is he called Adams? He's not called Adams. Or Barnes, right? They play Barnes or they play Barnes and Chris Wood up top, and then they keep on crossing these balls at a very, very frustrating rate, right? We played against them, and I told you that's one of their that's one of their strengths. They cross the ball a lot with a lot of accuracy and with a lot of power, with a lot of pace, with a lot of preciseness and conciseness. I think we played it well, not the traditional way. It's a refined 4-4-2. And I would love to see the 4-4-2 against Leicester City. I would love to. Because, it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't hurt me. We are playing we are playing a back four with two holding midfielders. It really, encroaches on our creativity a little bit. But it doesn't so much. You know why? Because Lacazette has the ability to shift inside and become part of the midfield as a number 10. and that's why it really doesn't hurt me a lot. So 442, probably yes, probably no. You should let me know. Cossy, let me come on with you live on the show one of these days. I am Arsenal fan, analyst based in Canada. Oh, thank you so much, Jason. Thank you so much, Jason. Hit me on WhatsApp, please. My WhatsApp link is in the chat. Top of the chat in the pinned link. That is my WhatsApp group. Hit me on WhatsApp and let us. I would love that. This week I'm going to have you on the Super Arsenal podcast, right? I'm going to have you on the Super Arsenal podcast. Thank you so much, Jason. Thank you so much, Jason. And I'm going to check out your channel as well. 442 is okay. That's according to Edison. Yeah, I mean, it could be okay if we play it well. And I think what I would love about the 442 is there's a way, you could have Emile Smith-Rowe as a striker, literally a number 10 who is a support striker, and it's a more direct formation that can that can allow players like Gabriel Martinelli get engaged more, right? It's one thing I would love about it. It's one formation that will have players like Gabriel Martinelli get engaged more, in the way we play, in the build-up of goals and things like that. So probably because of my man Gabriel Martinelli, I would go with the 442. And guys, it's been a very, very interesting stream. 1 hour, we stream for 1 hour. 40 people have been watching, 40 people and more. So make sure you tune in every day, 11 a.m., 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. in the night. After the 9 p.m., after the AFTV News Daily Show, 5 p.m. in the evening, make sure you check out that. And in the morning, 11 a.m. 3 shows, they should be enough. And I'll be restreaming my content. I hope I told you this. I'll be restreaming my content. Yeah, I'll be restreaming my content throughout the night, so that if you missed any episode, you could watch it live as well. And you have said, Cossy, 442 is good for Aston Villa game, but might not be good for the other team. So our coach should be creative as well. Okay. And then Moses says, let's go with 442 formation. And an Arsenal fan from Kenya. Thank you so much, Moses Karithia. I can sense the name, the Karithi name. It really comes from Kenya. I mean, you people really have good names. And then Anu, just to close with Anu's point, saying that it could be. I mean, you don't play 442 against Liverpool. Can someone drop the social media info in the chat? Okay, let me do that. Let me try to see if I can do that for you, Jason. What I'm gonna do, Jason, is gonna put my WhatsApp number in the chat right about now. Let me do that for you. WhatsApp number in the chat, right? So hit me up on WhatsApp, 256. Yeah, it's 256-705-850-635, right? So that's my WhatsApp number. Right, that's my WhatsApp number. You can hit me. You can meet me on WhatsApp, and then we speak up a couple of things. Okay, so what I was saying though, on Anu's point, right? What I was saying on Anu's point is, if you have a Liverpool game, you definitely don't play 442. If you have a Manchester City game, you definitely don't play 442. Actually, I would advise to go for a 3-5-2, something like that, or a 3-4-3. Be more defensive and be more cautious. Give them the respect they deserve. So no problem with that. Okay, and then Eric says that is 422 diamond. Look, I'm not the best person with. I'm not really the best person with formations, but I really loved what we played. I really loved with. I really loved what we played on Friday, guys. It's been a very, very interesting stream. I'll speak to you very, very soon. Make sure you hit the like button, please, and please don't forget to hit the like button. People are disliking these streams. I don't know why. not only my streams, but more streams out there. So make sure you hit the like button to support your boy. I'll speak to you at 5 p.m.